second session of conference time. In this opportunity, we will share with Magister Juliana Excel Vasquez Gonzalez. Juliana, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, excellent. Juliana Excel Vasquez Gonzalez, IALTA Research Development Program Coordinator. IALTA Teachers Inside Journal Editor-in-Chief 2022. IALTA Panama Ambassador 2020-2021. ESL Teacher in the University of Panama in Alejandro Tapia Bilingual School. PhD in Linguistic Current Participant. MA in Applied Linguistics, Universidad de Panama. Postgraduate in Virtual Environments, OTEIMA. Postgraduate in Higher Education, Universidad de Panama. Major in High School Education. Certified in Research. Microsoft Expert. ESL Program Training Certified in Toronto, Canada. Climate Change and Energy Conservation and Emission Reduction for Developing Countries Certified, Beijing, China. Digital Literacy Global Teacher. Participate in different international webinars, seminars, and conferences as source speaker, among other achievements. 14 years of experience in the education field. For teacher Juliana, success is the achievement of every single step. Be welcome, Magister Juliana Excel Vasquez Gonzalez, to this second round of conference time. Be welcome.
Thank you, Professor Placida. To remind the one in the, in the technical part, just allow me to share my screen, please, in a few minutes. And again, hello, everyone. As Professor Placida said, I'm Juliana Vasquez, and it's my pleasure for me to share this session on linguistics topics that we are going to be discussing throughout this wonderful week. But before I start sharing the information I brought to you, let me extend a special gratitude beforehand to my colleagues of the English School at Extensión Universitaria de Agua Dulce for organizing this series of conferences in commemoration of the Thanksgiving Week celebration 2022. Same sense of appreciation to Professor Narcisa Jaime, coordinator of the University Extension of Agua Dulce, for her valuable support. Secondly, to all of you for your commitment and dedication for learning fulfillment. I know that this week we are going to have a nice time learning all together. All right, let me see here we go. I cannot share my screen yet. May you allow me, please?
Give us a couple of minutes, please.
Que no sé si está en inglés porque a veces... Pregúntale si tiene... ¿Sí? ¿Ya?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you for that. Can you see my screen now? All right, perfect. My topic today is related to morphology. I know that previous lecturer Professor Jelisa, she was, discussing something very important as well, related to linguistics. But this time, I'm going to base the presentation about morphology. Right, first we are going to have an overview about concepts related to morphology, some types and functions, some exercises to practice after that. I'm going to set time for teachers as well, for real life situations and applications. Same for a recap and farewell at the end of the presentation. So let's see how it goes. All right, here. I would love you to go to an online tool, but I don't know if that's gonna be possible from there if you have enough sign up. Let's see if it can be possible, but meanwhile, let me look for it. And share again the screen for you to see where I would like you to go. The tech tool is called Book Lab. Let's see if I can make it possible for you. So just wait some minutes, please. Alright, here it is. This is bookclub.com. If you have a phone right now and you have no signal there, let's see, let's try. But if that's not possible, maybe we are going to have the plan B, right? We teachers, so we have a plan B, right? C and D and all the letters in the alphabet. But for this time, for the audience in the auditorium or maybe those interacting through YouTube channel, let's see if you can go to Book Lab and type the code TDLDAS. That's the code that we are going to be using for the first question I brought to you before I start with the content itself. So the question is, what do Legos and language have in common? What do Legos and language have in common? I know that most of you over there, mostly the ones who have kids back home, maybe your cousins, nephews, and nieces, probably, or your own kids, you have had these pieces of toys back home, correct? So let's see. How do you think Legos and language have in common? I would like you try to join in booklab.com and use the code TDLDAS. If not, to make it interactive, people in the audience, you can go to the microphone and give or provide a response. So those brave who would like to provide a response, maybe teachers, maybe students, you can go and let me know what do you think about what do Legos and language have in common. Let's see. I don't have some responses yet, but probably it is because of the connection. But I know that there's some in the audience who would love to provide a response, right? Let's wait for one more minute. If not, then we continue. Professor Bratila, is there a volunteer in the audience to provide a response?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, the question is, what do Legos and language have in common, according to your point of view?
The point is, maybe they have an accent virtually because of the connection is a little bit slow. This is why.
Alright, alright.
Let's have a time, she can listen to us, so let's have kind of analysis with the question that she has on the screen. What do Legos and language have in common? What do you think they have in common? Is there any volunteer? Just an idea, okay? Just an idea. What do you think?
When we both we should put pieces together in order to create a masterpiece.
Okay.
Yes. Nice, thank you for that.
Yes.
Here I have some responses in the
Oh yeah.
tool I brought to you in book club teachers. Write down about this. The audience says that both can be put together to reach a point that can be understood. All right, a structure. In both, we should put pieces together to create a masterpiece. I agree with you as well. As Legos is for building blocks, the same thing happens for the language learning. Yeah, you are right. When we learn a language, alright, maybe some of you are going to continue providing responses, but meanwhile you do it, and let's see. Alright, here, let's come back to the presentation. Presentation again. Alright, here. I was saying, yes, as Legos, we use them to build, blocks, to build blocks. Same happens with language. To create language, then we have to build, words. And those words all together make one single unit of meaning, right? The formation of words themselves make us to communicate our ideas with others. But all of them, if you don't know, even if the construction of or the constituents of the words, they may have all meaning even though they are very, very, very small, right? So for that language, as I was telling you, all right, at this point, in linguistics, there are some fields to take into consideration for the study of a language. And a language study is based on sounds, firstly. In the study of phonetics and phonology fields, it deals with a structure, what we see in morphology and syntax fields, and meaning, semantics and pragmatics fields. Today, at this point, we are going to take a trip to one of those fields, specifically the morphology field. Maybe you are thinking by yourself, like, well, yes, why morphology? What is that, or how is that meaningful in my life studying English? Or the same question I made when I was in university levels, and I was, but why morphology? The same word sounds like very difficult for me. Imagine that. But no, when you start learning about it, then you fell in love with this. Why? Because you realize that most of the time, some people who are studying English as a second language face problems when generating words. Not only because they lack of vocabulary, if not because we don't know how words are formed or where they come from. For instance, I'll bring this specific example. If a student is asked to read any passage in English, alright? And he or she finds words that are not considered lexical items for any dictionary. Yeah, because it happens. Sometimes you look for the word in a dictionary and you don't find it. Its meaning is not easily found, so that it's difficult for that student to know the meaning of the word he's dealing or she's dealing with. And the student gets frustrated, stuck, incomprehended what the message or the context it could be because of the lack of the knowledge of the word. Situations like this one show the importance that morphology plays in the life of someone who studies English as a second language. Right now, speakers of English tend to create new words constantly, alright? For example, Shakespeare, who was the father of the English language, he created words and he based his words in meaning, right? So let's see why teaching morphology is important, and you, students, why studying morphology is important for understanding how words are formed by combining actually affixes and roots to improve vocabulary and understand their background. Morphology shows that
the structure, organization, and usage of every single constituent, guiding people to use it and understand it correctly in some words. So here is what we go to. It plays an important role in our life as students, as teachers, and it shows itself constantly in real daily situations, mostly when we are studying a second language. But what is morphology? Alright? What is morphology? Morphology itself. Morphology is a Greek word, right, that combines two constituents. Which one? Morph, which is meaning, form, and ology, meaning the study of. Morphing implies to transform from one form to another through manipulation of the parts. Morphology works in much the same manner with the students manipulating the parts of words to create new meanings or alter but similar meanings, for example, in sentence construction. But at this point, when you are going to construct one single word, let me point or highlight specific facts. For example, authors like, here we go now, to explain the point of view of the author, I'm going to highlight. McWilliams said in 2014 that morphology is the field of linguistics that emphasizes on the study of forms and formation of words in a given language. In other words, what I could understand, and maybe you understand as well, is that morphology is the study of word structure. As you can see on the examples, adding morphemes, alright, morphemes here, to a word, we can create another one with different functions. That is what morphology does. To describe how words are formed from morphemes. A morpheme, what is a morpheme? Alright, a morpheme, write down, because at the end then I'm going to make some questions related to this. So for that, I'm going to ask Professor Plácida or any of the teachers in the audience to support me with that, and the students can, reply to my questions later. Okay, a morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning in a word. Smallest unit of meaning in a word. Linguists therefore prefer other terms to say it, like referring to it to morphs, to morphemes, and lexeme. At this point, when talking about words, a morpheme may be as short as one letter, such as the letter S, as you can see here. Alright? As the letter S, affixes. Later I'm going to show that. Alright? And this letter, for example, when you add an S to a word, then it adds plurality to a word, such as the word boy. Then you bring into consideration, let's go back to the word boy. If you add the letter S, then it is not singular anymore, so it changes to boys. Now it's not one, it's not more. We don't have the exact quantity, but at this point we know that the word changed in, function. Likewise, a morpheme can consist of letter combinations that contain meaning. These units of meaning could be roots, alright? But we have to be very careful when we hear roots, because maybe when you hear roots, you may think about, okay, one word as a root. But remember that sometimes roots cannot stand alone, because they need the support of other affixes. Which ones? Like the prefixes, as the word says, prefixes, because they conform the word that we have, the pre-morpheme that we have, and the suffixes that is placed after, the pre-morpheme that we have. There are some others that are not common, but they are very important as well, like the infixes and the circumfixes. Let's see the examples here. For example, of prefix, here we have caution as the pre-morpheme or root word at this point. we add precaution, then it changes. Now it's not caution anymore, it's not precaution, something else. Speak as a pre-morpheme, and then if we add the suffix er, then we have speaker. Now it's not a verb anymore, it's not it changed to a noun. Here I brought some examples, but they don't come from the English language. We can find them mostly in other languages. For example, ficas is one pre-morpheme, but if we add the letter F before the letter UM between the letter F and the IKAS, then we have an infix, because it says in means inside of the word, right? And the example of lip, that we can have the same pre-morpheme, but we can place words before, vowel morphemes before and after, and then we can have something called circumfixes, right? These two are placed like circumfixes. Now let's explain about vowel morphemes. What is vowel morpheme? You know that vowel morphemes are types of morphemes, but this one change the meaning of the word exactly. For example, if you have the vowel morpheme ed, ing, s, and s, they can change the meaning of the word. Here we have wash, in maybe wash of the action, right? And now if we add the ed, then we can have two options. One, the past tense of the verb wash, but at this point it can be also the participle in past tense of the word wash, right? And now at this point it is a noun, for example, or not a noun, an adjective, for example, right? The wash part, for example. Wash can be also washing, another participle here, but in present tense, actually, in present tense, we can use it like a noun. Washing my car is fun, for example. Now it's a noun. Free morphemes is another type of morphemes, and they can stand alone, and they are divided into two many functions. For instance, the content words, that are the ones that they have common meaning, like tree, man, book, all the words that you may know, right, around yourself right now. And the function words, like the pronouns, the conjunctions, the prepositions, the articles, and the auxiliary verbs. Content words because they have content, and function because they play a role to maybe link, to give other sense, and to support the words that they are closer to. As I told you before, morphemes can be used to modify the structure of a word in order to change the meaning of the word. Here we have in the sentence, Glenn plays chess. Actually, here the verb plays is here in present tense, right? Present tense plays. But we can change it to the past tense. For example, Glenn played chess. Now, the suffix ed change the tense of the sentence itself. Now we are not in present, we move to the past. Here I brought some examples of prefixes that we may encounter. The most common, let's see, because it was an investigation I made with some of my colleagues, and then they were the most common that I could have from them. For example, on, which means non and opposite. For example, unsafe, not safe, right? Again, back, like restart. So start again. This, not opposite of, for example, disconnect. The opposite of connection or connected is the disconnect. In, which means not at this point, and is inactive. For example, not active. And pray before the word, give us some highlights of what it means, like in the word pre-test, before the test, right? Before the test or before the maybe investigation we are making, or to evaluate something with pre-test. Here there are other prefixes like the semi, super, multi, mid, inner, mid, and sub. And most of them have, definitions as well. For example, semi means half, semicircle, so the half of a circle. Super, above, on top of, beyond. Superhuman, in this case, like Superman, right? Above of any human quality. Multi, many, much, like multicolor means that there are many colors involved. Means bad or badly, it can be also wrong or wrongly. For example, misbehave, one person that behave or now that person behaves wrong or bad. Inner, between, in between, like intercept, in the between, alright? The space actually. Mid, middle, like in midnight, in the middle of the night. And sub, under, beneath, below, secondary, like subway. Most of the time you can see subway constructions, they are under the soil. That's why they are called subway. Now, suffixes here. I brought some examples like suffix s, which is a bound morpheme. Bound morpheme, it means it's added to another word to create a new one. Like es, es, that is plural, like in depth. ing, action or process, like drawing, it can be an action or it can be also a noun. ed, past tense, like in watch, right, past tense. Full of, like painful, full of pain, for example. We don't say full of pain, we say painful, better. Less, without, painless, without pain, right, without pain. But we don't used to say without pain, we used to say painless. er, or one who, that, and which. For example, baker, inventor. So here we create from a verb, we create a noun. It can also be speaker, a drawer, a singer, right? Is one who does a specific action, for example, artist. An artist is one that performs the art. And ITY, a state of quality of something, like humanity. State of quality. What is the quality? Human quality. This is the affix matrix. If you didn't know, there is a matrix, so where it comes. A structure means the structure. It can be a root word as well. It can be a free morpheme. Alright, here in the middle. And before, you know now that you can have the prefixes. Alright, here we have some others. And you can also have some other suffixes or infixes or circumfixes depending on the situation. But this is the matrix. If you didn't know, take a picture of it, or later I'm going to provide my slides to the teachers so that they can spread information around yourselves, and then you have it for further study in your own time and disposition. Now let's move to the functions. Yes, because in morphology we don't only have types, we also have functions. Let's talk about inflection, that is the number one. In inflection, the bound morphemes which carry grammatical or functional, remember the functional meaning, are called inflectional affixes. And their function is to create new forms of existing lexemes. Right? At this point, for example, the suffixes can play an inflection on a word, because when you add the ed, the ing, or the s, and the apostrophe and s for the possessive form, then you are creating new forms of existing ones. For example, you have the verb play. You remember the one I mentioned before, plays is in present, but if you add ed, it existed at place, but now it's something else, like play in past, but it existed. Here we have some types of inflection itself. We can have deflation, For the grammatical category, like number. For what? For pluralization of what? Of the word class. Like, for example, trees. We can have another declaration, like in the case grammatical category, like for the possessive genitive. At this point, the word class for nouns as well, John's, like the possessive one, John's car. Conjugation, for what? For number, person, and tense, in the third person singular. For what word class? For the verbs. Like, for example, looks in present tense, as it says. Present tense of the third person singular. Another conjugation is conjugation of the verbs. Tense, for example, the tense, the regular simple past of the verb, like in the word look, right? Look. And another one that maybe is confusing sometimes with the past tense is the conjugation for a function and meaning of the regular past participle. Because sometimes you confuse the regular past tense with the participle. Remember that at this point, participles, they play like adjectives. So it's not the same to say, I looked at the dog, or saying the dog, in this case, the looked dog was at the door, for example. The conjugation of the present participle of the verb, like in the looking as well. Looking, at this point, the present participle, this is not like the present progressive, this is the participle. At this point, participles play the role as another adjective, like looking guy, good looking guy, right? Good looking guy. At this point, looking is giving an attribution and characteristic of the word guy, which is looking handsome maybe, right? Comparison, in comparison forms we have the comparative and the superlative. Here we are the ER for the comparative and EST for the adjectives. Like, you are the smartest in the class. This information was brought from doctor. It was a study made, right, and it already exists as a way of introducing more things to realize equations in 2000. Now, after the inflection, we move to derivation. As the word says, derivation are other affixes. Let's call them as prefixes or suffixes that have lexical meaning and are used to create new lexeme. Let's say, like the word connect. If we add this before connect, which is a word that has lexical meaning, connect, which means to link one thing one another, then we change this word for something else, like this is not something that links with one another anymore. It doesn't connect, so this connect. At this point, we create a new one, because connect is not connecting anymore, it's not disconnect, then we have derivation. One new word, right, lexeme, that derivates from an existing one, that's derivation. Compounding. Ooh, this one is the one that we commonly see around. And compounding, it sounds like being easier, right, than other functions of the morpheme placement. And in compounding, we have the pre-morpheme, the lexeme, that we are already talking about, things with what? With lexical meaning, right? Lexical meaning. So that you can find it in a dictionary. They are combined to form new longer words. Two pre-morphemes. Pre-morphemes means that they have significance. Like back, talking about back, in position, back, your back, my back. Plus the pre-morpheme pack, alright, we need to pack something. Then we get a new complete word, which is backpack. Right now, it's not like with your bag, or to pack something, it's not that you have the backpack with non-derivation component like significant part or meaningful part coming from back and pack, because actually food or you place your things inside that specific item, which is the backpack. But it is a complete new word, so that's compound. Conversion. This is the last example I bring of the morphemes placement. It can be total conversion involving word class change but without any changes to the form of the lectin, or partial conversion to the spoken form may change. Here a broad example. I used to drink milk in bread. The word milk right here is a noun, but if you add the suffix at this point, the ed, right, or the vowel morpheme ed, which is called suffix, then it changed from a noun to a verb, and actually this is in past. But you can also say that in present tense. You can also say Mario milks if you add the s, of the derivation of the third person. And now it's a complete different, function. From noun to verb. Or in this example, like linguistics is my favorite subject. Subject is a noun, but you can change this noun for the verb, or actually the component verb was subjected to the raised treatment. Now it is not a noun anymore. Now it's a verb. Exercise. Let's see. Try by yourself back in the audience or wherever you are in to divide each of the following words into their smallest meaningful parts. Let's see if you can make the first one. I think that you can make it, right? Unemployment. After you heard about morphemes and their functions, right here, try to identify if we have prefixes, if we have suffixes, or what kind of affixes we have here, if we have a root word, if we have a morpheme, what do we have? Let's see, let's give some minutes, 1 minute for someone in the audience, Professor Blasila. If someone in the audience would like to try this one, unemployment, it can be also teachers.
Okay, let me ask if there is one participant or someone who wants to give ideas. This exercise, I was trying to show you that we need to be summarizing, and because of time, we have people have classes in this room, right? Okay, yeah, teachers group, I think, education. Okay, exercise, divide each of the following words into their smallest meaningful parts. Word, okay, according to what she was explaining, meaningful part, for example, we have unemployment. We have one what? What is on? Prefix. Yeah, prefix, yes. And we have employ.
Yes.
Okay.
People think, and what else?
What else? Yeah. Suffix. There.
All right, thank you for your participation. Yes, for the word unemployment, then we have, okay, let me go back. That is a vowel morpheme called prefix, right? Then we have employ, which is a free morpheme actually. It's free because employ itself has a lexical meaning. And we have the vowel morpheme meant, which is a suffix, alright? If we can see that this is not in the word, so it is not indexed, but maybe it can be circumfixed because we have prefix and suffix, so they are all together. Let's try this one. Think about that. Landholder. And actually, this one, landholder comes from the compounding function land plus holder, plus hold, And actually at the end you can add even another suffix, right? Another vowel morpheme, which is ER. And now we have land, which have three morpheme with a lexical meaning, whole, that has lexical meaning as well, another three morpheme, plus the suffix ER. Now it is not okay, now the function here. Let's see, a smoke jumper. Another one, a smoke jumper. It's similar to the previous one, but because we have a smoke as a free morpheme, we have jump, another free morpheme, plus the suffix ER. And I hope that over there you could make it, you know, and try to answer. And this one, the true or false. True or false? Let's see. After we revise the information, true or false? Let's see if you can win into homerosynthesis. Let's see. Every English word contains at least one root. What does the audience say? Every English word contains at least one root. What do they say? Yes or no? Right, that's true. Every English word or word in English contains at least one root, right? One root word, based from a base from what to start. Let's continue. In English, a few inflectional morphemes can occur as prefixes. In English, a few inflectional morphemes can occur as prefixes. Think about it. Think about it. Well, in English, that's false. Why? Because only suffixes there are not inflectional prefixes, right? Remember that this specific function is for the suffixes, not for the prefixes. Next, three morphemes can stand alone as a word. Three morphemes can stand alone as a word. Yes or no? True, yes, that's true. Yeah, because they have, as I told you, they have lexical meaning. That's why they are also called lexemes. This one, in English, some morphemes have both a free and a vowel allomorph. What do you think? In English, some morphemes have both a free and a vowel allomorph. True. In English, some morphemes have that one, a free and a vowel allomorph. It means that it can be prefix or suffix. For example, speak is a free, you know, a free morpheme. But if you add speaker, er, then you have an allomorph. Vowel allomorph means vowel morpheme. All right. And the last one, a morpheme is the biggest unit of meaning in a word. A morpheme is the biggest unit of meaning in a word. True or false? False. Yes, false. Why? The smallest. Yes, because a morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning in a word. Now you know which one? ER. Or maybe the S. What? The S don't have a meaning, right? S, only the letter S? Yes, because it shows plurality of words, actually. And it is important to know that words can have more than one prefix, right? You can have, like the word unpremeditated. On plus pre, right, makes two prefixes. And the word discomfort, like this, come, and the free morpheme word. But we are talking about the prefixes, right? Guys, now that you know that, start creating new words, but with significant meaning, right? Lexically. Words can have more than one suffix, the same as the prefixes. They can have, for example, hopefully, you can have the free morpheme hope, and you add full and li, and you have hopefully, two suffixes, right? Teachers, you can have teach, the free morpheme, plus er plus s, then you have two suffixes. And friendliness, you have friend plus li plus next, and then you have another two suffixes in a word. And this one, words can have more than one prefix and suffix. Look at this. My gosh. Imagine, challenge yourself to create a new word with meaning, like this one. Do you know that anti-establishmentarian was a word with two prefixes and two suffixes coming from the three word or the three morpheme established, or anti-establishmentarianism? Imagine that, more suffixes then. So it can be possible all in morphology construction. Very fun, actually. And how can instruction about morphology help the students? Morphology helps the students to what? To improve spelling, right? Improve spelling of the words. After you know what are the words that made up of one specific lesson, then you know how it's written so that you are going to write it there. What? It provides strategies for decoding the word, to understand the word, the context in a text. If you know what is the pre-morpheme and then you try to link the meaning of the prefixes to that pre-morpheme or that text, you know, then you are going to understand the word. That's very fun. And it builds vocabulary. Yeah, because maybe you know a couple of words now, but after you have the list of prefixes or suffixes, the affixes list actually, or the affix matrix, then you start creating new words by yourself. And I know, teachers, that the next or coming days, you are going to find words created for the audience you have right now. The students are going to do it. I know. They are awesome in that. And how to get advantage of morphology to teach the English language learning? This is for teachers, because it teaches different morpheme patterns that the students can have for them to know more vocabulary, to create more words. Introduces the morpheme patterns that are related to the content vocabulary needed to teach the class. If you are going to teach a class, then you can introduce some of the vocabulary by explaining to your students about the meaning of the word and what are the affixes around. Instruction should include not only the spelling but also the role of the morpheme has in changing the meaning of the word, like in the case of the derivation and inflection. What's the role in there? Why the word changed to that point? And here recommended classroom activities for teachers or the ones who are there in the audience that I know that they are having the experience of being teachers, maybe in some practices, you know, classroom practices, or in a foreign school. So you can have in your students the syllable types and syllable division. You can have base word prefixes and suffixes for them. You can have compound words, and you can have function words for them to understand them. Like for example, here I have another for complex classes, like you know, in grammar you can have also microorganisms, for example, and then you can have your students to diagram the word. Alright, then your students are going to say, no, again diagrams, why not? Yeah, but this, after you understand the topic, then you are going to be able to know that microorganism is a noun, and it has the prefix micro, right? And the noun or the free word organ, and it also has, you know, two other suffixes like ism and the suffix s to create the pluralization of the word. But actually, at the end, microorganism is a noun. Here you have a construction model, for example, using materials such as construction papers, cardboard. You can build a three-column model in which you separate the prefixes, as you can see here in the picture. And have your students to create new words, but not only to create the words, if not to try to describe actually what is the meaning of the new word after the word formation. The game of the speed trees, here you also have the speed trees with a dictionary. You can have a ball like this one. And on the ball you can place some suffixes or some words, and you can toss it to your students. Your students, you can create, you know, like a chant here for them to repeat after tossing the ball. And when they stop or you stop saying it, the student with the ball on the hand has to build as many words as possible using the affixes provided in the board, right? So that they can create new words based on the vocabulary they already know. And here the references of my presentation, in case you would like to look for more information about it. And thank you so much, but if there any question for my person, I'm all ears here, and you can let me know about it. Yes, Professor Batica, thank you.
Okay, we just want to say thank you very much, Juliana. We do appreciate your presentation. Thanks a lot for this contribution during this conference time, during this week. This is the first day of conference time. Okay, I don't know if you have a question. If one of you, is there any question, I mean? In the students? In my dear colleagues? No? Well, I have to say thank you so much again, and we will finish now because it's time for other students come to this room to have classes here. Thank you so much for being here. We do appreciate your participation, the contribution of my dear colleagues. Remember, tomorrow afternoon we will have the second session of conference time. You are invited to come and enjoy our information. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Such a wonderful audience today. Thank you for the invitation.